Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout. Back from the break. Again, joined today, luckily, is Jason from the Saws Escape Room, Blair Witch Escape Rooms here in town, talking about licensing IP and just the incredible business that he has kind of manufactured out of scaring people. It's kind of like, God, Colt, if you could get paid every time you got home 5 minutes late, I mean, life would be good. Because I know you're terrified when you walk in 5 minutes late.
I got a great idea for you. You can't steal from me right now, but do one of nothing but Mexican women with chanclas. And make people walk through it, just chase you around. You got dodge
the whole thing is the whole premise is this is your Mexican wife, and you're 20 minutes late. That's the whole escape room.
And she texted you 5 minutes before.
Yeah, she did. Oh. Yeah, she did.
I'm telling you,
Donde están las chanclas?
Just a chancla.
That's it.
I guarantee you'd make money on that.
You would. So we're back today. We're talking with Jason about intellectual property, licensing this stuff, because he has been able to license some of the biggest brands in the industry of horror are his partners now. I mean, major studios are his partners, and he is able to profit very successfully and share profits with these major brands. And if you're kind of wondering how to get a foot started there, this is a great conversation to listen to if you're ever thinking about, man, how do I get something started like that? So to recap what we talked about, the first part of the episode was, I think the biggest hinge point key was build some credibility in whatever angle you want to go, whatever business you want to build in. You can't just start from zero and get these deals. You've got to build some credibility in the arena you're dealing with. And then B, don't just necessarily bang your head against the closed door. Look for that side door, man. Look for somebody who's got a connection to these people any way you can get into them, because I think just like you, once you start making a little bit of money for one of these guys, they kind of talk.
Absolutely. It's a very small world in the, we call it location-based entertainment department. And you're right. I mean, we've worked with, after it started with Saw, went to My Bloody Valentine. We worked with the late George Romero. We worked with Halloween. We worked with The Collector, The Collection, Five Nights at Freddy's when it was at its peak, that crazy video game.
Yeah, well aware. My son, all about it. So you did a haunted house with Five Nights at Freddy's?
I'm the only one that they've ever licensed at Fright Dome. So I'm the only one that they ever licensed their brand to do a live attraction. So we worked with them. I mean, there's so many amazing ones over the years. And, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they're dear friends of mine over there. Amazing. I mean, so iconic.
It's such a weird thing to say.
Yeah, so
I mean, they made me a skin lamp. It's that kind of relationship.
I do have a skin lamp, actually.
Well, actually, he does.
Yeah, we do. I do have a severed arm lamp, and it's made out of human skin in the face. Not real, of course, but yeah, it's quite the office at my house. I have an office at my house and then an office at work too. But
there's a YouTube video of it.
Oh yeah, there's absolutely
of
your office
props from things.
Well, by now, people are probably trying to figure out. So I want to get this out of the way. So if people want to connect with you, how do they find you? What's the gram? What's the handle?
So it's at, what am I at Jason Egan Fright. So yeah, at Jason Egan Fright on Instagram. I don't have Twitter. We're at Saw Escape Room and at Escape Blair Witch as well too. So those are the two that we have out there right now.
Where's the Blair Witch? Where is that?
Right next to Saw.
Is it the same place?
Yeah,
I haven't done that yet.
To amortize the cost. You're emptying out in the same retail.
Oh, yeah.
So and now we're building a pizza place called Sliced Pizza, which is a horror-themed pizza place. Because, that's a thing, too. We have, when you get people on your property, you can get them to spend more. If you give them, good value and, they're showing up 40 minutes early, they're going to buy a slice of pizza. They're going to play a game,
I think nothing proves that more than, the pawn shop guys in there.
Oh, God, they're
pawn arena.
Geniuses.
They've got those people just trapped down there.
Oh, God, yeah. And absolutely, they're selling food in line and everything else.
Yeah.
The Oratorium used to empty out into a overhang bar in Planet Hollywood.
I remember that. Yes, the Oratorium.
They're not a good example, though.
No, that place.
Those poor guys only lasted 10 months.
Yeah,
I can tell you 10 reasons why they didn't.
I went through there on opening night. It was a rough go of it.
They picked a little argument with me at the beginning. They're like, "Oh, what do you think about?" And the news had me on thinking about talking about the competition. Like, "Oh, what do you think about your new fierce competition?" And I'm like, competition. I'm like, they're a 10,000 square foot exhibit versus my 250,000 square foot exhibit. On the third floor of a Walgreens building with no parking. I'm like,
Right.
it's not
Yeah,
competition.
they didn't do it well.
Come on, Eli. You know, before you license your name, think. Come on,
might
he's
wanna
a
do that.
smart guy. You know,
Eli
I mean,
Roth.
like, yeah, you don't. Again, that's the answer. He should have said no on
Yeah.
that one. You know, he should have learned that. I would have taught him how to say no. Like, it's not worth the money. They probably gave him 6 figures, to license the name, but.
Yeah, and I love that philosophy too. Sometimes kids, the best thing you can say to a business deal is no.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best deals I've ever done, they're the ones that I said no
Yeah,
to
I mean,
sometimes.
in your case in the real estate business, what my grandfather always used to tell me, don't fall in love with bricks and mortar. I mean, some of these people fall in love with these deals. I'm like, it's just not the right deal. Let's just wait a little bit. One of the studio deals that we're working on right now took 2 full years of negotiating. And I'm sure a lot of people in my camp are like, Jason's all talk. He's not going to get that deal. And then when I get it, they're like, oh my God, we didn't think you're going to get this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I stayed persistent.
Like, cutting everything.
People just don't get it. Sometimes people think that, these deals
Mom
can be put
working the
together.
door.
That's a great question. Is there a deal that's gotten away? Is there one that you wanted you didn't get?
Not yet.
That's just dead. No, I'm not going to say anything's going now. What's the one that got away, Jason? What
It
is it?
hasn't gotten away yet. It hasn't gotten away yet.
There's some
but-
golden gooses you're still grinding out there.
Yeah, there's some great
White
IP.
whale.
Yeah,
Holy
the
Grail.
white whale.
The Leviathan.
But it will take time. It will take time, and we'll remember this conversation. But there's one of the most iconic horror movie characters of all time that we've been, discussing with their family about doing a deal with.
Tom Hanks.
He's still alive.
God.
Thank God.
Yeah.
You did a Tom Hanks
So-
one. God, the most
scared.
Oh, I'll be
worst.
so scared.
Be the worst. It would be actual Tom Hanks come and be like, surprise, can I take a photo? Like he does everybody getting married on the beach. Just wants to ruin their freaking throw his picture. Just be like, is that really Tom Hanks? Or like, we can't get him to go home, guys. I'm sorry. We've tried for last year. He sleeps in the back.
Looks like John Travolta.
Yeah. Oh.
But no, our batting average has been really, really good because, we go into the deals that we really do want, but our batting average has been stellar. It really has. We put, and now, versus, back maybe 15 years ago, I'd only work on one project at a time. I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I'll be working on 10 things right now. I mean, Chris knows I'm just go 7 days a week, and he's probably shocked. I'm like, hey, now we need a 60,000 square foot property for this. I need a 5,000 square foot property for this. And he's like, oh my God.
You see a lot of people seeing what you're doing and try and jump in now into the industry.
Absolutely. I've seen family members that, they don't talk to attempt to ride my coattails and they think it's so easy. And I've seen them fail miserably. I mean, just absolute failures at this stuff. And it because they don't get what the formula is and they're missing a very, very important piece of the puzzle. And that important piece of the puzzle is me.
Right.
I mean, they don't know how to do it.
Fire safety regulations.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, yeah. They don't know it. There's so much stuff that goes into it, and then, and I don't want to, rain on anyone's parade, but the stuff's expensive now. I mean, what I could have done for $100,000, years ago, is now, millions of dollars. So I mean, our escape rooms are, well into the millions of dollars now. I mean, but again, you build it, they will come, and how it goes with our escape rooms. But now you build it, you work your ass off and hope they show up, and they do.
Well, let's talk about that for a second because people hear escape room and they're thinking the little joint in the strip mall down the street from them.
Exactly. That's the bad perception.
If you haven't, I've been to your place. We went there pretty close to when it opened for my wife's birthday.
It's changed a lot.
I haven't been there. We'll have to come back then. But I'll tell you this, without giving, first of all, Google this, look it up. Look up the Saw escape room. It is unbelievable. It's like being projected into the movie. My only question about it was
with some smart people.
Smart people, because the first room just crushed us.
We were just like
that. I won't talk about what it is, but that first area. Yeah. I think you guys almost threw us out just for being dumb after the first. I felt that it was coming anyway.
Yeah, it's changed a lot, and we're constantly I have a team that literally is just changing out puzzles all the time. We're dark on Mondays and Tuesdays, and they're continually doing that. But you're exactly right. You bring up a good point because I hate calling it an escape room. It's really an escape experience.
Yeah,
it's a truly
not
immersive attraction.
Room.
I mean, Saw is 13 rooms, 7 of them you have to escape, and it's truly an experience. It's an hour and 15 minutes long. Blair Witch is like an hour and 7 minutes long on average. I mean, these are big attractions, and you can't just build a Saw experience and have it 1 or 2 rooms. They have all these movies that you have to encompass.
Yeah.
And so it's impossible. But I mean, it felt real. I'm sure when you went through, you truly felt like you're in an old meat packing plant.
Oh yeah, no, it was awesome.
And all that was built by us.
Yeah.
It was a blank canvas when we went in there. And, that's the key is making people feel immersed. And the movies even have it easier than we do because they have camera magic. They can hide things. They can hide the ceiling. They can hide the ground. They can hide all this stuff. You're in there 360 degrees. So we have to do it on a lower budget than a movie, has to do it. And, everybody's looking all around. They're feeling the things. They're smelling, all that stuff. So it's, you have to be smart with it. You have to be a good builder. But we have an amazing team of builders now.
No, I think that's the coolest thing about your deal. Like you pull up to, an escape room and it says escape whatever.
Oh, it's
escape. Yeah. It's whatever. Like you pull up to this place, it doesn't say anything about where you are.
No.
Even the throwaway stuff is well done.
Yeah, you're completely just immersed in
stuff that's just window dressing. Literally, window dressing is well done.
Oh yeah, we have our facade next door, not even in the same building, but we did a full city butcher facade. So if you're looking in the windows, it seems real, and you got the fake butcher counter and everything else. It's just the little things that blow people's minds. And what a lot of people don't realize is how important. You mentioned Instagram and stuff like that. Are people? They say half the reason a person goes out is to get those photos, that they can post on their social media and stuff like that. So we want to be able to give them amazing things to look at.
Yeah.
And we're continually changing our attractions to allow them to take more photos and post that stuff.
How long has Saw been open for? How long has it been open for now?
Over 4 years now.
4 years, and it's still just booming.
Yeah,
you guys are still just
the numbers are going up. 2021 was our best year ever. I mean, it was through the roof. I mean, unbelievable. And
what's your percentage from locals to tourists?
About 80% tourist right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's 80% tourist, and which is great, and that's what I want because we're Vegas sees 40-some million tourists a year.
Yeah,
and I love the locals to come down too. That's great, and that keeps us busy as well. And we try to offer things like through Costco and stuff like that for our local crowds to get bigger discounts. But that's what's great too. Vegas has a revolving door of tourists.
Yeah. How are you marketing the tours?
Digital advertising primarily, and then we've got a couple mobile billboard trucks on the road. Sometimes we're running normal billboards as well too. During October, we'll run a little bit of radio. It just depends, but primarily digital. Digital is truly where our audience is, and we have an amazing commercial for both Saw and Blair Witch. I mean, if you look at Blair Witch's commercial, I mean, it'll blow your mind. I mean, it was done by a full-blown film studio. I mean, it's like no other escape room commercial.
The girl from Halloween.
Yes, she's a star. She's a star of the commercial, and she directed it for me, Danielle Harris.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's so again, these are the little things that you have to do to set yourself aside because do you want to go to the escape room called the Dungeon in that strip mall that you talked about, or do you want to spend $10 more and go to a brand that you trust like Saw, the multi-billion-dollar franchise, that's blown people's minds for nearly 20 years. What percent?
If you had to guess, I know you don't bring a P&L with you, and I don't want to get into it, but we try to teach as much business as we can here when we do this. So, what percentage of your sales would you say you dedicate back to marketing to drive future sales?
So, let me do some math in my head real quick here. I would say our marketing budget right now is right around 10% of our monthly gross is where it's at.
I think that's a minimum number to continue to drive sales in a tourism.
I wouldn't suggest that to everybody. We own an ad agency as well too, so we see a lot better rates than a lot of people. So we're buying billboards, what's called preemptible, which is space available, but we never get bumped off of them. So we get really, really good deals on billboards. We, do all of our own digital advertising in-house.
Let's talk about that because that's now interesting. So you're vertically integrating in places where you're spending money, which is near and dear to my heart. I'm a huge proponent of the vertical integration. We do it with everything we do.
So we're saving a fortune. So, whatever, if we spend, I'm just throwing out numbers here. If we spend $10,000 on marketing, the average Joe would probably just spend $25 to achieve the same. Yeah.
Where else are you vertically integrated in your business? Where else?
So building, so we've hired in-house builders, sculptors, animatronic builders, graphic designers. We have a creative team that's by far one of the best creative teams. So I've hired people. I hired one of Lionsgate's former creative directors, Justin Yu. So what I'm doing right now is because we're scaling so fast, I'm creating the dream team is truly what we're doing. So I hired one of Disney's former creative directors in Imagineering out of Orlando. Mm-hmm. We hired Station Casino's former executive vice president of marketing. So I know to expand at the rate that I want to expand, that I have to come up with, truly, like I said, I call them the dream team. And that's going to be the way that we're going to be able to expand fast. I don't want to build 1 attraction a year right now. I want to do 3 attractions a year. I know now what I didn't know 15, 20 years ago. In order to do that, you have to bring on some pretty badass team members. You got to pay them a few bucks.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're doing. So, you know, we're bringing that in-house. Like I said, we do all of our own buying in-house.
Right now, Vegas is the only market right now. You're just here. That's it? Or are you anywhere else?
No, we're looking in Texas right now as well too. So yeah, we're looking in Austin and Dallas, Texas as well. But you know,
are your current licensing giving you first shots at those markets, or did they kind of give you?
Necessarily say the current ones, but we're working on some other ones. You know, Saw and the people at Lionsgate are amazing. So
if there was only a horror movie that was based in Texas, you could do it there.
What would it be? Like
if there only was
the Dallas Daggers.
If you know a Tom Hanks film or from Texas,
Houston
he's
Homiciders.
Scott's like Castaway, the haunted house.
Oh God! Could you imagine that and just put people in the experience and say, "We'll pay you $1 million if you can make it."
We're just gonna lock in here long enough till you start talking to a volleyball. That's gonna be the end of it.
That'd be a good experience.
Colt's worst nightmare.
But I mean that's what's important though, and that's what keeps our budgets down. You know, I mean, so let's say Chris goes and contacts a company like Thinkwell and says, "Hey, I want to build the Saw Escape experience." You know, they're gonna come up with a price because he's doing nothing in house. They're gonna come up with a price and that'll be $10 to $12 million. Right. Or if you go to me, you know, I'm going to bring it in less than $3 million because, you know, we're doing our own sculpting, we're doing our own dressing of the Billy Puppet, we're doing our own animations, we're doing our own graphics, we're doing our own set, you know, we're doing all that ourselves and not getting it marked up 10 times. So, you know, we've definitely been able to take advantage of that, you know, bringing so much stuff in-house. Now, I definitely know when we can't do something in-house. You know, I mean, we have some third-party animation builders that are absolutely amazing, some of the best in the world, and we know, you know, they might charge us X amount of thousands of dollars for an animation. We might not be able to beat that price because they do it every single day
at scale.
So we get that, and we're smart enough to make that decision, you know, on our own. Or I've made plenty of those mistakes where I think we can do it cheaper, and
What makes a good market for you as you look at these other markets and you want to grow? What makes a good market?
Tourism for one thing. You know, we were looking at the tourist markets, you know, the convention market, you know, and you know, location is not as important. You know, location within that market is not as important as it used to be, because I say a few things changed us, and that would be digital marketing. So now, you know, I can get in, you know, the same cell phone as Cirque du Soleil can get to, you know, because we have a badass digital team. And then also now, you know, if this was 10 years ago and you told me to create Saw, I wouldn't have done it because at the current location, because it's a couple minutes off the strip. You know, it's you know, and it's not in a hotel. But now with Uber and Lyft, they've changed the market forever.
Yeah,
I mean, forever. With the touch of a button, you can get a car in 5 minutes or less to pick you up and take you at a fair price where you want to go and pick them up. It's the greatest thing ever. Now you can get, you know, as you would call in New York, a black car, you know, to come get you and stuff like that. You know, you can get a beautiful limousine. You can do everything. I mean, I think they have like Uber Flight in New York, you know, as well too.
Helicopter.
Uber helicopter. Yeah.
Does in some of these markets you're looking at, does like actors unions and those sorts of things play effect in those thoughts? Probably. Like, would you go to LA? Would you do it in LA?
I would definitely do it in LA, but you know, what would scare me the most is, you know, I think in Nevada we only got shut down, you know, for a 2-month period when there's this whole pandemic. So again, not getting political, not taking sides. I'm looking at markets that I know, because I'm still a small company.
Yeah,
I couldn't get shut down for a year. That's not
that doesn't fall in the cards. That would just crush you.
Yeah, just destroyed me.
Yeah,
and you know, I do appreciate, you know, that Sisolak only shut us down for a certain amount of time. You know, and I couldn't do so. While I will definitely do something in California, you know, when everything's cleared up and stuff, but it's an expensive market. You know, I can come into town and buy a billboard in this market for $2,000 for a period, and that same billboard in LA is going to be
astronomical.
You know what I mean? So everything is more expensive there. So that also scares me as well. So
what about like Orlando? Too many kids, or is that?
Orlando's a great market. Love Orlando, and you are competing with Disney and Universal Studios and stuff like that. So definitely, you know, we're definitely looking at Orlando as well. I love Orlando. I love visiting there, and they didn't shut down. So you know, maybe they should have at times. I don't know, but I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But
well, the guy that green lights projects into Universal City Walk there is one of my best friends.
Oh, there.
So I'll be your window washer into that, my friend.
We're going to talk later.
There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Definitely. But no, Orlando's a great market, and to get the right thing in Orlando. And the good thing is, like we mentioned, I think Colt mentioned it, the price, of the Bruno Mars and stuff like that.
Right.
All that's done. I love when that happens.
Right.
Thank you, Adele, for charging $1,000 for your ticket, because you know what that makes people feel? That my ticket was fairly
it was
priced
affordable.
and affordable. And seeing my $50, $60, $70 tickets, they're like, oh, that wasn't even the fee for Adele. That wasn't even the fee for Bruno Mars. So those are good. And they're great performers. And if they can command that, great. Keep commanding it. Keep going higher, because I'm just going to see more people. I'm going to keep selling out.
Colt, he just came back to something you said earlier as a good point.
Yeah,
you got to be feeling good about yourself. I mean, you got to be feeling.
Tom Hanks.
I mean, it's like a walk. That's like a walk-off home run for you.
It wasn't the Star Wars or Tom Hanks.
That is a walk-off for you, my friend.
I'm telling you.
That's amazing.
I'll throw an egg every once in a while.
It's so true, though. I mean, it really is. The ticketing fee that Ticketmaster is charging for some of his shows is more than my entire ticket. It just makes little old Jason Egan make that much more money.
And
now.
that's it.
They come to me and they think, because think about a bachelor party. You know what I mean? People, middle class America, is going to come to Vegas to throw a bachelor party. They have no idea what that's about to cost them at a nightclub
Right.
Oh, God.
or a strip club.
Oh, man.
And don't get me wrong. One of my best friends owns a strip club. You saw me in his seats the other day
Yes,
at the
I
Golden
did.
Knights
Yes,
sale.
I did.
Yeah, the strip clubs obviously do very well because he's right next to your seats. I don't get those
You know,
seats.
what's funny is we were always kind of wondering because the crowd changes quite a bit through there, and I was always like, there's something gotta be. This has got to be something.
Somebody's got to own it.
Something's got to.
Interesting.
It's got to be a strip club at some point, and then the little accountant lady was nice enough to be like, yeah, well, he owns a Palomino. I was like, oh, okay. There you go.
And not only it's the Palomino, that's one of the most iconic licenses in Nevada.
It is.
In the country.
Because you can't get it. That's it.
You're not getting that license. So Adam's one of my dearest friends.
Yeah.
But
Colt frequents the place next door. That's his spot.
Chica's Bonita.
That's where I recognize you.
Chica's
Bonita.
That's what I recognize.
I was like, that other white.
I
know. The other white guy.
Chica's
The
Bonita.
other white guy. I'm telling you.
I've seen over the cop car
Yes.
going. I thought
La Flama Blanca.
This is Marca. I think, with your market, you do have to be in a tourist market, right? Because you are putting so much money into your events and stuff and they're year round, that you couldn't do that in a stationary market, do you think? Or in a Boise, Idaho, or do you think, or is it too costly that you'd have to redo it every 2 years to get people back in there?
There's a hybrid model. You bring up a great point. Yeah. Another great point besides the Tom Hanks.
Two for two.
Yeah.
We're going out for drinks after the Palomino and Chica's Bonitas.
We got to hook up.
We know guys. John knows the guy.
So you bring up a good point there too. So then what you create is a touring model. Mm-hmm. So we are, of course, working on touring models. So let's say we go into Minneapolis and we want to sit down for 120 days and basically suck that market dry for everything we possibly can, and then we don't tour back. We don't go back there for a couple years until we change a show or put a different show in place. So we don't want to leave out those markets, but they're going to cap at a certain percentage, and so that's what we would do. It's just bring it back in.
The Freakling Brothers, like dirty trailers.
Yeah.
An absolute death trap.
No. But it's
going to be something that goes into Mall of America, or something that has some space that's desperate to get entertainment in there because they're all dying very quick death. All these malls. Have you been to a mall lately?
Dude, it's brutal.
Scary.
There's plenty of space.
Very soon,
I'm telling you. Here's my other $1 million idea for the day. You ready? A 3D printing equipment that can turn an empty Kmart into mini storage. You figure that out?
Oh wow,
you're booming.
That's what they do.
That's it. Take that. Somebody take that and run with it. I'm not going to. Take that and run with it. I'm not going to.
All the Kmarts in Utah are indoor storage by U-Haul.
You do that. I want to back up a little bit because every time we have a successful entrepreneur on the show here, I always like to go back because it seems like everybody has kind of the same thing. So at what age was your first money-making gig? What were you hustling as a kid that made money?
The boring gig was probably when I was 14 years old, and we were doing mowing lawns, shoveling snow, and stuff like that.
But you were hustling.
But no, and we got commercial accounts back then too, so I wasn't messing around back then. And so we were doing that. I learned early on when I started making that money, and then you can buy what you want to buy, and not have to think of the store look at the menu, what can I order, what can I not order, what can I afford. I don't want that feeling. I didn't like that feeling. You know what I mean?
As a kid, yes.
Yeah, I don't need to be driving a Bentley like Chris here, but you know, I still enjoy, you know, if I like this new pinball machine that comes out, and I can just say, hey, text my supplier, hey, I want that new Elvira machine. Can you send it to me? And not even blink an eye.
Yeah.
These things are nice, and I got that feeling early on, and I knew that I didn't want to have to, you know, and I had throughout my career, you know, it broke a couple times, you know, and I don't like that feeling either. So
nobody does.
I knew right then that I wanted to work hard and, you know, make my own money. And I was going to be the person who decides how much money I make. Yeah. And, you know, we've done, like I said, we've done very well. Very, very well. And we continue. Like I said, if we sit down and have another conversation in a few months, your mind's going to be blown on what we are creating right now. I mean, it's so cool, and that's what I like, and I like increasing the size of my team, you know, taking care of my team. We've got such a cool team, and for them to be able to do some of the people that were with me for Fright Dome to do this year round now is exciting, you know, because people. It's I don't want to call it a cult, but it kind of is a cult. The horror community, you love horror. I mean, my whole office is literally like horror collectibles and stuff like that. One of my guys.
You know about Star Wars people?
Pejoratively, Jason.
I meant a good thing.
Don't talk to the guests like that, Colt. What's wrong with you?
Sorry.
One of my guys has a Ghostbusters room in his house. I mean, so people really get into this stuff, and you know, look at, you know, yes, we are working on some friendly projects as well now, but look what's breaking the records, you know, on television. Chucky, I think, broke all sci-fi records on TV. Stranger Things on Netflix, blowing the doors off everything. You know, all these horror shows are just blowing up right now, and you know, I mean, some of them, you know, some of these franchises. Saw is $1 billion franchise now at the box office. So. Yeah, that's unheard of. So, you know, people love horror. They love that safe scare, you know, and going in there. And having
something oddly human about just being on the precipice and seeing it. It's been through all cultures, all communities, through different ages, right? People love the public execution.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, there's something about fear that feeds humans.
You know what we didn't talk about? How do we not talk about this? How are we saving this for literally 57 minutes into the production? I'm at Connell. We gotta tell stories. So I'm at Connell's house Saturday night. We go to Tool, and after I had left my car at his house, we get the Uber back to his house, and we had a couple pops in us, whatever. And Connell looks at me and goes, "We need to have an experience." I was like, "What's that?" He goes, "I have in my office a spider, a dried tarantula in a can, edible." For human consumption.
Is that what that picture
if you want to
was?
have an interesting, he goes, if you want to have an interesting experience, let's have one. And how weird do you want to get? And what was my response, Connell?
Get the spider.
Did you guys eat it?
Yes.
You ate it?
We ate the tarantula. Yes, we did.
But you won't eat that mojada loca?
No, that's a good point. I would rather eat a tarantula than that weird wet meat and mojada loca.
I'm throwing it out. You want some good Mexican food.
That is absolutely true.
Absolutely
I don't know, but Jason, I got one more question.
You're braver than me in the spider.
I know. I got one more question for you, which is this. Awesome. So, and your answer may be a little different than most, because also you're very high functioning, but with what you do, your hours are probably a little different.
Absolutely.
So what's your morning like? How do you stay motivated? How do you continue to press?
Well, there's no off button, so it's 7 days a week. And I was hoping for Christmas off, but I even got bugged on Christmas. But that's part of being a business owner, you know, and you know, and that's the part of the give and take. You know, I mean, my hours aren't 40 hours a week, but I'm not a morning person. I hate mornings. You know, I absolutely hate it. You know, that's why hence the business that we're in. You know, we're in the nighttime scaring business and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll sleep in until 9:30, something like that. I'm not the 7 o'clock guy, but you know, I usually, like I said, I check my emails and you know, go through everything that we need to go through, and now a lot of it's delegating a ton of stuff to our team. You know, I used to do a ton of the stuff myself, and now I am focused primarily on new business development. So that's primarily what I do every day. You know, whether that's talking to the studios, whether that's talking to some of our producing partners, you know, out of New York and stuff. You know, it's all about new business development for me. And I'm really, it's all, and it's changed a lot too with the Zoom calls and stuff. But you know, it's really allowed me to get things done quicker. You know, I love one thing the pandemic did do that I did enjoy is a meeting, from a meeting, typically if I have to go to a meeting and go meet with someone,
you're burning an hour in the car.
I'm burning an hour in the car. I'm burning the time getting ready for it and everything else. In a Zoom call, I can get the same damn thing done for the most part, with a studio and in a fraction of the time. So I'm able to be much more effective in getting deals. And if, we have an amazing operations team in place now that operates attractions, so I barely have to touch that stuff unless we're hot heavy in the pandemic and everybody's got coronavirus and I can't, I got to go dress up as a pig, but it's only happened once so far, but get punched by the big old guest. But so I'm focusing 100% on business development all day, every day. I love that. And then,
Colt punched a pig in the side too, but it was a Palomino.
That's a different story. You tell a weird place.
Yeah.
Oh God! Swear to God, you want to hear a thing? So I have all the original creators of Facebook down, and they're driving their car. They do their rally, right? Their thing. I go, got a fun experience for you. They're like, where are we going? I'm like,
are we going to eat a spider? No, worse.
I go, we're going somewhere where you guys can't drive your car. You're not taking your Ferraris and Lamborghinis and McLarens to that part of town. So we go, this girl looked like Yogi Bear. I swear to God, I've never seen
Yogi
somebody.
Berra or Bear?
No, Bear. Not Berra. The most amazing. That place is amazing. We will go there one night, me and Jason.
Are you talking about Chicas Bonitas?
Yes, it was amazing. I've never seen such a crazy body type, and it was amazing. Amazing. That's how we should.
The views of Colt Amidan
do not reflect.
Yeah.
I've only been in there a couple times. I have, I usually tell Adam, like I said, my good friend that owns those places, I'm like, I want to go see Chicas Bonitas. I want to see what's going on over there. It's like, why? It's really nice over here. I just want to see.
I got it.
You ever seen a train?
It's an experience. Yeah, it's an experience you got to go to.
Let's just see it.
That business is amazing. That's a whole other bit. I can't believe how much,
everyone needs love.
The sexual oriented business, SOB business. I mean, it's just unbelievable,
how much money they make.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, man, thank you so much for coming and joining us, man. It was a fascinating conversation. Dude, it's you want to level up with whatever you're doing to the stratosphere. I mean, licensing $1 billion entity is the way to do it.
Absolutely.
And look, man, and this is a cat from Lincoln, Nebraska that grew up hustling, mowing lawns and throwing on kids' birthday parties, and has now gone to this.
How familiar is that theme?
Yeah, it's always everybody that comes in it was hustling as a kid. Always. I mean, you
got to.
You have to.
You have to. And some things just take time. You have to be patient. Keep breaking down the door. Keep knocking on that door. And I always like listening to Tony Robbins as well too. I mean, a lot of his stuff makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? And one of the most important things is that 90-second rule of his. 90 seconds of frustration or whatever it is. Don't get upset at anything more than 90 seconds. Just move on and continue and stay positive with it. Don't get upset if someone tells you no the first time. I mean, I can't tell you how many times the studio's told me no, like 3, 4 times, 5 times. And literally I've got the emails, no. And I keep going at them. I'm like, hey, has anything changed? We have this now. And then, oh yeah, let's do it.
Eventually,
or when they see the press release and they see we've dominated the press, with Blair Witch and stuff like that. And they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can chat now.
Where are we at with that deal? I'm like, you declined it. Remember?
That's where we are.
Yeah, that's where we were. But let's do it.
I'm still ready. Pounding sand like you asked me to last time we talked.
Yeah, but I'm still ready to do the deal. I still want to do it. And that happens a lot. You just got to stay persistent, positive, motivated, and surround yourself with good people.
Right there. That's a power move.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
as we always do, as we always say, man, if you like us, make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend, and if you hated us, tell 2, because it doesn't matter if they're talking good or bad about you. What is it, Connell?
As long as they're talking about
you. As long as they're talking.
Exactly.
See you next time, guys. Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com. where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at @thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.